Hey guys, Sean here. We have a great video for y'all today talking about vets and war heroes. But with that comes some content that can be disturbing to some. So if you think this content might be uncomfortable to watch and listen, then you might want to skip out on this episode. But other than that, enjoy.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to Two Guys Rambling. Another week of rambling, Javi. Episode 11.
I don't even know anymore.
11, Sean?
No. When you're watching this, you'll know. Why do we have to know? You'll know.
You'll know for us. You message us so that way I can put what episode we're on. I want to say we're on episode 11. And we are. This is going to be a big episode for us because there's something new, Javi, in the studio. Do you see what's new?
Yeah, that camera.
Could it be the camera that's recording us? We've got a brand new camera that's going to start recording us from now on. You can see my phone is now right here.
Now, nerd out about the camera. Why is it so great?
The camera is literally set up to be a vlog camera. So for anybody who knows anything about cameras, it is the Sony, I want to say SV-14. No, 1F, sorry. It's right. Double check me, Sean. I want to say it's the Sony SV-1F. Literally this camera is made for vlogging. So it shoots, it's got one lens on it. So to make sure that it captures everything that we want it to capture. It's got a better, processor inside of it that helps it detect color and all that good stuff too. And stuff like that. Was that it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is SV, right?
Yeah.
SV-1F. So if you guys, hopefully everybody out there likes that this one looks a little bit better. I definitely like it because now I can use my phone for notes, and stuff like that without having to be on here, making stuff and not being able to use my phone at all.
Yeah.
Now we can obviously see it's recording because we got a red dot now. It will look official. Mm-hmm. And now the studio looks really, really good because now we have like studio lights. Does this make you feel like it's I don't want to say a real podcast.
Don't psych me out. Don't psych me out.
Okay.
I just got comfortable talking to a camera. Don't psych me out.
So, I mean, if you guys are looking for a camera to maybe start out, everybody that I talk to, I have a great group of people that I was able to talk to and pick their brain about what we should use and what we shouldn't use. Cause we were looking at a more expensive camera.
Yeah.
And, we're kind of going back and forth. We didn't even know if this thing's going to take off the floor. We didn't know what kind of views we're going to get. We don't know anything. Let's start out kind of a little lower end. And this was kind of everybody that I talked to, everything I saw online, they were talking about how this is the perfect entry level camera to do. Because obviously it has limitations because it's entry level.
Yeah.
Is me saying camera freaking you out?
No, yeah. I'm like, oh God, try not to laugh.
What do you call it? So it's entry level enough to where obviously there's certain things that it doesn't have that you can't do with it. But there's a lot of things you can do with it. So we're going to see how it rolls. And I'm super excited because now I get to use it for editing on the computer, and I've been wanting to edit on the computer so bad. And there's certain things that I can do on the computer that I can't do on the iPad when I'm editing. And so,
I got you.
I'm just extremely excited to have this.
Thanks, Steve Jobs. Not Windows compatible. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, seriously.
I mean, he's dead.
You can get it on there, but then it's just too much work. It's too much work. But luckily, us having this now, we were looking at the amount of time we could record. Lucky for you guys, we could record up to 4 hours and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So good luck, all of you guys. We're having to sit here and listen to me and Javi talk for 4 hours. And then now we can take thumbnail photos and get some real genuine shit out there.
Got you.
Yeah, I'm excited about this, dude. I'm super excited about this.
Hey, now we can actually, instead of shooting on an iPhone, if we go lounges and stuff, use the camera.
Yeah, and that was my question, right? I was like, hey, can we use it? Because so that footage that you see where there's nobody in there, but it's panning across this, right? That's called B-roll.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to make sure that because it's a fixed lens, and usually when you shoot different shots, you need a different lens. I was like, is this something that I could shoot B-roll with and do all the extra stuff too to make because I want to make it look good, right? I want to be cool shit in there. They're like, yeah, no problem.
Damn.
No problem at all. You'll be able to do everything the way you want to do it. and you'll be totally fine for it. So,
okay,
I'm
sweet.
Fucking ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this. It's not even fucking funny.
Badass.
I said an F word there. Whoops. But
that's your second one already.
Is it my second one?
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
You're like, we need to get this fucking shit out there.
Oh god, it's 3. Are we limited? Should we limit ourselves to 4? Do you think we should put a limit on it? I really think we should put a bucket.
Yeah, but I feel like
I think that's kind of funny.
Uh-oh. Oh fuck.
Oh my god.
sorry, I just got paid.
Hey. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. About it. I think it's gonna be really cool when we take it places, right? And like take photos and
yeah, exactly.
So I'm super excited about this. It's not even funny. But as always, the way we start every single podcast with the cut and the light.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna jump into that. We're gonna cut and light cigars. Today we are going to be talking about we're gonna start doing kind of the segments. Events. We're gonna do some current event stuff at the beginning. Then this video is gonna be coming out right before Memorial Day, so we're gonna talk a little bit about Memorial Day and some of the badass men and women that have protected us over the years, and what Memorial Day means, and how significant and important it is for everybody to celebrate. Yeah,
because I feel like people just kind of like, oh, it's just a holiday.
Yeah, for most people, right? It's like a day off. Like I don't gotta do nothing, right? Yep. Like, and what it means, right, to celebrate Memorial Day and to be a part of that. So I'm very excited for that. And then I think we'll probably drop the ad for Spotify, like right. It's not time yet. Now.
Jesus Christ. And we're back.
Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Crazy, right? Did you see how it changed, Tommy?
No.
And then, so we're going to get into the Cut and Light. Cut and the Light is brought to you by Club Humidor, Cigars of San Antonio. If you're in San Antonio, you decide you're going to come visit down and check out Two Guys Rambling because you love us so much. And when you are here, you got to make sure that you take a stop at Club Humidor. They've got 3 locations: San Pedro, Thousand Oaks, and Huebner. And they have a wide range of cigars that you can purchase. All kinds of goodies, all kinds. It's like an adult. I was going to say an adult store. That's not what it's like. It's an adult candy store. But make sure that when you guys get down here, you go check it out. All of the men and women that work there are just phenomenal people. Mm-hmm. And they work extremely hard to bring just good tasting cigars to everybody. So make sure you give a shout to those guys there. You go check them out and you tell them Two Guys Rambling sent you. So that way they know that you guys are listeners and they can help you out. Sound pretty good?
Yep.
As we do our Cut and Light, of course, Sean's going to tell us about our cigars today, Sean. So if you want to go ahead and tell us about those.
Yes, sir. Matt is going to be smoking the Drew Estate Liga Privada H99.
Man, I'm going to have to check it.
Yes, Gauge Lancerio. It is a Nicaraguan full body. I'm getting this from Cigars Direct. Of course, welcome to go check that out. Javi, on the other hand, is smoking the... Let's get this real quick. How do you pronounce it again, Javi?
Basically, the instructor. La Instructora.
Yeah. La Instructora.
I may be brown, but I don't mean I know how to pronounce.
And Javi is smoking a Dominican full body this time. I'm getting this from Half Wheel. Back to y'all.
What's great about this one is Joe from Club Humidor recommended it because they were getting boxes of this in that had, like 4 years of age on it?
Yeah, something stupid.
So we're talking like not from like the farm 4 years of age. We're talking like it sat in the box for 4 years.
Yeah, one of the shops. That's another reason, right, to go to like Club Humidor because you just never know what you're going to find. You know? Like there's so many...
Such a big selection.
They've got so much stuff in there. Like it's ridiculous. So I'm super excited about that.
It's hot. But see, the way you'll know if a cigar has good age on it, if you can see that, how it's kind of like, how it's yellow. So that means the tobacco oils were kind of rising. I believe they were basically rising, right?
Yeah.
They're coming to the surface, so that means it's supposed to be like a very delicious smoke. And it is. I bought like 6 or 7 of these. And now they don't have them this aged anymore. They just have normal. whatever.
That's when we were in there and that guy walked around and he was like, no, I don't think
know.
so. So
And
fuck
then
it. We
you
like
grabbed
went up
all of
right and
them?
grabbed all of them. I was like, oh man, he doesn't know. Shucks. I guess I gotta go get them. It's good, right? So
Always
good.
is.
I have a few more, but I just don't. Like, there's some of them that I just don't want to, like, smoke too much of.
It's just like,
Never
what if
gonna
I
get 'em
die
again.
tomorrow, you know?
Amen. Amen, brother.
All right, so we're starting into current events or what's happened in the new, like Keemstar, you know, fuck that guy. Let's get right into the news.
Keemstar, dude. I didn't know much about him until recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, piece of shit.
Wholeheartedly
Yeah,
a piece of shit.
scam artist. Like, oh, that's
Just
why
like
I put this here.
Logan Paul.
Should
Hey,
muffle
we
that out.
say,
Oh my god!
I
Did not
tested-
muffle it out that
I
much.
tested it.
Oh god! Oh.
So what do you want to talk about first? Oh wait, first off, fuck roaches. Like we're talking like cockroaches. Fuck
Yeah?
them. All right.
What
If I
happened?
could have one superpower, Matt, it would be within a 50-yard radius of me. If a roach gets near me, die immediately.
Oh my god!
I'd
that
open
serious?
up a extermination business of only roaches,
Only roaches?
and people would pay me, and I just walk around their house. They're gone. They'll be gone.
That's it.
Yep. I just hate it because whenever it rains like really bad, Sean, you can agree with this. They come out like crazy. And they're not small, they're the water roaches, so they fly and they're huge.
Yeah, San Antonio has a roach problem.
Yeah, hardcore one.
Yeah.
You know, it's a constant battle every day when you see one. You're like, do I approach it? 'Cause
Yeah.
You always gotta.
What am I gonna use to kill this dude? Raid. Easiest way.
I just step on it.
Yeah, no, I'm too much of a
Shit.
pussy.
Oh no! I just step on it. Just, get some.
Like for Cassie, I'll kill spiders with my hand, like bare hands.
Yeah.
Like I did it the other day where I just smashed a spider
Would
with
you
my bare
smash a
hand.
tarantula with your bare hand?
No, I'd step on it, but I wouldn't smash. I'd probably
I
get
was curious.
I'd probably get a 12 gauge with
I
some
was
bird
just
shot for
curious. I
that.
was just curious, dude. Speaking of 12 gauge and birdshot, dude, I had a heated argument today. I was so
Did
upset.
someone say birdshot's good for home defense?
Absolutely, what they said.
Are they? Okay, guys.
Dude.
Fuck counter's gonna go up. Are they fucking dumb?
Dude,
What kind of FUD lore is that shit?
I was like, so what if somebody breaks in and they have a pistol? They have a pistol. You've got a couple of rounds. They have like 15. Let's say they have 15.
Yeah.
And they're
That's like
like,
the
they're
average
like,
pistol.
no. They're like, no. Like, a shotgun like is the best home defense weapon.
Guys, go watch Grantham. He shows how many layers of drywall, 12 gauge and 9 mil will go through. And also, you're a fucking bitch if you use birdshot for a home defense.
Like you're gonna piss somebody off more than anything.
Bro, in the trauma unit,
Mm-hmm.
right? My wife, I'm not gonna use her name because I've
Yeah.
I mean, I just said it earlier, but you know what I mean. Because I don't, whatever. She had to, there was a dude who got shot with birdshot 3 times. It was okay.
Yeah.
He was in there because, you know, he got shot.
Yeah.
But they were
You
like,
have to get him out still.
yeah, they were like, oh, some of them they left in, some of them they got to get out, but no broken bones, no nothing.
Yeah. Birdshot is not the way you, I will fight it tooth and nail.
So, okay,
Best
go on with
firearm.
the story. Go on with the story.
Oh, so I was telling him, I was like, because my argument was, no, like an AR is hands down the best firearm for home defense. Absolutely. Tooth and nail. 3 points of contact that you get. I got some echo there. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I think
That was
for
weird.
maybe, like more experienced people.
No, you have 3 points of contact. Anybody who hardly even shoots a gun, 3 points of
Yeah,
contact is really
Your
good
hands
because,
and then the stock into your
Yeah.
shoulder.
Well,
Unlike with the pistol where you only get 2 points of contact.
Yeah, see?
Which
So-
is both hands.
so 3 point, huh?
Can you get that with a shotgun?
Yeah, but here's the
You
issue,
can.
right? You give your you give your wife, let's say your wife weighs 120 pounds, a 12 gauge with fucking buckshot, right?
Yeah.
Even if you get the low recoil loads, the
She's
recoil
going through
isn't
the
going to be
wall.
fun.
Not only that, buckshot is going to go through
Drywall
a few
like
walls.
a motherfucker.
Yeah, a few walls.
You're going to kill your neighbor. You're going to kill your
before
neighbor.
anything. Like,
I mean, some people are going to be like, oh, well, with AR shooting 5.56, it's going to go through dry. Don't use full metal jacket rounds,
Don't.
fucker.
everybody should know for home defense, you do not use full metal jacket.
And then if you're going
You
with
don't.
like like 5.56 or 2.23, like you can always get 77 grain open tip match rounds, which will tumble after going through a couple layers of drywall. Or make sure to stay away from like soft point bonded bullets because that's barrier blind, and that's like we'll get into that in like another episode. But just
and then you got to make sure that the equilibrium of the quadriatic line of
right. And what's the humidity outside? So why are we arguing with the person though?
Because we were talking about, they were talking about, I guess, a school shooting that just happened.
Oh, you mean
no?
You're talking about the mall shooting in Allen?
Mall shooting that just happened.
You know how many more people you can kill with a shotgun with buckshot?
Dude,
you're getting like one freaking center mass. You're getting one shot kills.
Like it was like I was so like I sat there genuinely confused because I was like, no, like birdshot doesn't even make sense. And then I was like, if you're, let's say that there's 15 feet between you, or 15 yards between you, right?
Pattern?
Yeah, like 15 yards between you. Like that pattern's going to go out so far. And if they have a pistol, like your chances of winning that fight are near none.
Like, yeah, you might like
and
get pellets on target.
He was like, well, they're probably not good shots. It's like, sure.
How do you know
let's go with their not good shots.
Yeah.
Let's go with that, right? They have 15 rounds. All I got to do is keep going.
Shit, and if it's bangers, they probably got switches.
So, like, bro, hurt my head. I felt like crying.
And let me guess, his reasoning was, all it takes with my 12 gauge is one good shot.
Not even that. He didn't even say that. He just said, like, that
hey,
the shotgun.
Was this dude we were going to have on the podcast?
No.
We should have this guy on the podcast.
Yeah, we should have. Dude, this guy, he would be down. But listen, this is also the guy that came up to me and said, be nice. It's also the guy that came up to me and said that the mothership is now inside of our solar system.
What mothership?
I don't know. The mothership.
I mean,
the mothership.
I mean, maybe we can just, pick his brain and see what he's talking about.
Dude, listen. He would be down. I know that for a fact. He'd be down to come on.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
I'd bring him on. I'd be
yeah.
He's done. You're watching this. You know who you are. Cause I got up and I said, look, I think I lost 15 IQ points on my IQ right now from listening to this. Cause it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't because
it just doesn't.
You think when you're having an adrenaline dump, you're going to have the ability to rack the,
for
anybody
that doesn't know about birdshot, it's a shell casing with a bunch of little BBs, like the little BBs that you shoot growing up. It's got a bunch of those in there, and then it's got gunpowder behind that. It's got like a
maybe like a wad, but like it's like not a to keep it consistent.
Yeah, they don't stay consistent. They spread out. Spread out.
Yeah,
that's why it's called birdshot, right? So that way it spreads out, and you're able to hit birds in the air, right? And like you think of that, and it's because birds are so fragile.
Yeah.
Right? Like they say
they just got feathers, bro.
Yeah, like literally, yeah. Right? And like I told him, I was like, have you ever heard of anybody like, oh, I'm gonna go shoot a deer with birdshot? Like it just doesn't make sense, right? No. Like it doesn't make sense. Like, and I was like, sure, like you'll shoot somebody and they might get hit by pellets, but now after you get them, right? After that BB makes contact, their mind is now changed too. Their mind is, I need to survive. So if they also have something, right, to defend themselves, they're going to use it to their advantage. They're going to be like, dude, I got 15 rounds. Good luck, everybody else.
Yeah. And like most people are going to, not to say cheap out and get a pump action shotgun instead of semi-automatic,
mm-hmm.
right?
For sure.
They're going to short stroke the action when they're trying to reload under stress. It happens all the time. If you don't manhandle it and actually bring the action all the way to the rear and then forward.
Yep.
Some people short stroke and then they give themselves like, oh, why isn't it going bang again? Because
I think we should have a home defense episode.
But then I'll ramble on and then people will be like, he's crazy.
He is crazy. This is called Two Guys Rambling. It's kind of like our thing now.
We use all those 4 hours.
Oh no.
You see, for the YouTube people out there,
they're like talking about
demonetized.
Become how guns were manufactured. Why? Right. Current events. We can go off the rambling part. I'm sorry, guys. I really had to get that off my chest today. And why were there so many freaking people at HEB today? So many people. I don't understand. It's a Thursday. It's a Wednesday. I'm sorry.
What the
So
fuck?
sorry.
My watch went back. Anyway.
Are you on Tuesday or what? Okay.
I said it a Wednesday earlier.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday. Like, why were there so many people there?
Doesn't make sense.
Oh my god, dude, I was so frustrated there. I had to get spinach for my mom. So,
I was like, oh, that's random.
yeah. I was upset. Alright. Current events. What are we going to first?
Shooting at the Outlet Mall in Allen, Texas.
Oh, is that the one? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what we're talking about now.
Yeah, now.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know much about it. Do you?
So essentially what they're saying is it was a Mexican dude, right? He was a white supremacist somehow.
He was a Hispanic but a white supremacist?
Yeah.
That sounds confusing.
And, okay, so they released...
Only if we had a Bing boy to make sure that all this is accurate.
Oh, no, 100% they're saying he's a white supremacist.
No, I know.
Oh, I got you.
I just want us to be verified, you know?
Yeah. But what's crazy is...
Shooting in Allen, Texas.
Yeah, so what's crazy is like, whatever you do, don't... There's video out there of like aftermath and like people who were there when it happened. Just don't look at it.
Oh, is it bad?
If it's of the shooter dead, okay, look at it. But if it's like...
The shooter unalived?
Yeah.
Hey, make sure we write that down so I know when to put the dolphin noise.
Because there's like unalived people in like a cluster.
Oh, no.
And like, there's no... Just full gore, everything.
Really?
And I'm pretty sure one of them was like a little girl.
Oh, no.
And it like shows, and it was just, don't look at it. Don't. But,
yeah, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
So
God,
he was,
don't
he basically pulled up there with his AR. I don't know if he was wearing armor or not. All I saw was like he had maybe a chest rig with like 6 to 8
Remember,
magazines.
Just scan what you're saying.
I got you.
You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
make my life easier.
I got you. 6 to 8 magazines, and the cop a cop was just in the area, and he heard the gunfire, and he went to the gunfire, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and unalived him by hitting him literally, like I believe in the eye. Yeah, like headshot.
Wow.
Yeah, and like you can see the deceased shooter. His glasses, there's like one of the lenses popped out there on the floor.
Wow.
That's what this is.
Absolutely smoked.
That's crazy. Sean, make sure you monitor what you say.
Yeah. His name is Mauricio.
Don't say his name. Don't give that guy fucking credit.
Well, just to show he's Hispanic.
He's
Well,
Hispanic, right? We know that.
was
Fuck that
his
guy.
la-
I don't
his last
want.
name-
I don't want his fucking name on here.
His last name is Chris.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know his name. Fuck that guy.
I respect it. I respect it.
I think that should be like a rule of ours, like because people do this for fame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want their name
Well,
to be
you
out
know
there.
what's confusing to me?
What's
All
up?
right. This
Tell me.
dude did it, and then they did a deep dive in like his social media, and they're saying he's a white supremacist, and that there was like I believe it was Telegram or something, that he followed like white supremacist groups and stuff. But I'm
Really?
like, you know what's interesting?
Sean, can you find that stuff about him being a white supremacist?
They
Like,
gave
where they
us
found
all that information, but we just don't have any. All right.
Oh, conspiracy.
We still don't have any
Let me get my aluminum
information,
hat real quick.
right? We still don't have any information from the trans shooter shot up the
Oh yeah,
Christian school?
Yeah, we still don't
Because
know much about it.
the cops said they had a manifesto from the trans shooter, right?
Uh huh.
But they're not going to release it. But then we 100% dive in rabbit hole, like
Yeah, know all of this all of a sudden.
he's a white supremacist. Like we have pictures from his
Yeah.
social media and stuff, and then even the supermarket shooter who went to the African American community.
Yep.
Boom! They released it. They showed his manifesto.
Yeah.
Like everything about
we
him,
saw the
why he did it.
manifesto.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Depending on the certain personality
yeah,
traits
mhm.
or ideas somebody has, do we? Why don't we treat them? Why don't we treat them all the same way
equal,
across
yeah.
the board?
Yeah.
They went with the intent to kill innocent people,
Mm-hmm.
even if. So then, why don't we go and talk about why they did that? Why is
Yeah.
it just, oh well, this shooter, like we have the manifesto, but we're not going to release it at this time.
Yeah,
Like-
especially with the trans shooter because they were saying like They were blaming it on the school.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's the school's fault because the school did this.
Yeah,
and
people
that
were
and
defending the
other.
trans shooter.
Mhm.
Yeah, all over Twitter. That's cesspool. Fuck Twitter.
Yeah. I think we have a Twitter.
He had Nazi tattoos.
And he's a Hispanic dude?
Yeah.
Bruh, this guy got a pop filter still isn't talking to the mic.
Oh, Brit.
But they're saying it's kind of like I'm better than Mexicans type of deal. Like, I'm not.
Even though he's Hispanic.
But they said he was gang affiliated.
I'm so confused about this now.
Like, he was, like, Mexican gang affiliated.
Really?
Yeah.
But he was a white supremacist and Nazi tattoos?
So
I don't know, dude.
they,
It makes no
they
sense.
only found out he was a white supremacist through his social media. So that means that there had to be like a lot of it on there, right?
I mean, I'm sure what Javi was saying is that he like followed like a bunch of white supremacists.
But see, here's the
Like
thing. It's the
bullshit.
government. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Just never know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And then, like, with the El Paso
what does
shooter.
Wendigoon say? Like, if you don't think that your government would do that, think again or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and if you ever say the government wouldn't do that,
Yeah.
yes, they would.
Yes, they would.
Yeah, Waco.
Oh, dude,
Bro, that's
Waco,
that's like a whole episode on its own because
Hey.
Waco is crazy.
dude.
Ruby Ridge. Oh, no. You know they say that's white supremacist stuff? If you bring up Waco or Ruby Ridge, you're a white supremacist.
Why?
Because it's what the FBI classified as, like, militia talk. Militia
They
speak.
classified Waco as a white supremacy thing?
Because,
I thought...
no, not the whole shooting, but if you reference it
Uh-huh.
in, like, the terms of, like, what the government was willing to do and, like, FDATF,
Yeah.
they say it's like a white... I'll, like, see if I can find the bulletin. That's a white supremacy
Only
thing.
if we had a Bing boy to do this for us.
Yeah. the
FBI classifying
Waco and
Waco.
Ruby Ridge is white
as white
supremacists.
supremacists.
It's either, and then they said like the 3%er, that's white supremacist. Punisher School, white supremacist. If you're like very patriotic, that's like fascist and white supremacist.
Yeah, I know that one.
And,
Sounds like a given now, apparently.
and a couple
And
other
that's why
stuff.
we're going to get American flag right here. Not because we're white supremacists, but because we,
We love our
fucking country.
Yep.
Yeah. We fucking love our country, so we're definitely going to get an American flag for this wall here.
Bro, my little sister
get-
said there was a little girl in her class. They were doing a history thing. We're going on a tangent here. They were doing a history thing, and it was like, so you guys are socialists. Find who the communists are, like Imposter, right? Like the game Among Us.
Okay.
Right? And a little girl, she was like, "Oh, I was socialist, but I'd be more than happy to be a communist." And I was like, "Bro, you don't even know what the fuck communism is,
No,
bro."
And this is part of the problem is that we're so far detached from communism. We've never had to witness communism at its fullest, right? Like with the Berlin
Didn't
Wall.
Stalin kill like 10 million people?
And dude, I'm sure it's way more than 10 million people. Like he's somebody who like would put sick people on an island and just leave them there.
And then that's not even including what the Chinese did
No.
during their revolution
Like
with Mao
I
Zedong.
was watching this video the other day, and this guy was supporting North Korea. Was saying that like North Korea is like, well, it's not that bad of a place. Like,
Bro, I know someone personally who said, well, North Korea's being pretty successful right now. And I was like, what the
successful in
fuck? They're
what?
starving to death, bro.
Literally starving to death.
Like,
You know the United States sends food over there, right? We send food over
Why?
there. No idea.
they say, fuck you, fuck them.
We literally send food over there. I'll never forget watching this documentary of, they have a really bad issue with cataracts
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And doctors go over there and help,
and
right?
help them. Like the doctors go over there and help them. They pull out the cataracts. And all that
Yeah.
stuff. Cataracts, it's like, it's almost like a contact, but it grows under the pupil.
Yeah. And so they got to cut it
And
out,
so they
right?
have to cut the pupil and pull it out, or literally pull it out. Contact.
And it clears your vision. Like,
Clears your vision. You're able to see
Yep.
again.
They say it's one of the most easiest surgeries nowadays.
Literally, because
One
we're
of
so
the
far
most
advanced in it. Well, anyways,
one of the
this doctor goes over there, right, and does that. And as people are coming out of the surgery, They're literally going in front of these pictures of Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il
and thanking them
for giving the doctors the power to do this
and to give them their
and
eyesight.
saying like we wish death on America.
Yep, and
like I will fight till my last breath.
Now that we're talking about, fuck commies. Hey, you out there who's a communist? Fuck you. All right? My grandfather didn't fight commies just for commies to be here in America. All right?
We're just so far detached from it.
It is.
That
we are
nobody
100%.
nobody knows, Like we have the luxury of not seeing true communism today.
And dude, I hate people who live here and they're like, fuck America.
Makes
and I'm
no
like,
sense.
The fuck you mean fuck America? Go try living somewhere else.
Anywhere else. Anywhere else.
Anyway. So
Yeah, sorry.
we're going to, fuck communism.
Yeah, fuck
Sorry
communism.
for the tangent. We're back to our topic of the day, and that is Memorial Day.
Fuck communism.
Fuck communists. The only
Oh, God. You have to bleep that out, Avi.
Hey, you have to promise me you're going to bleep this out. All right?
Yeah, I'll bleep it out.
All right.
Sean, write this down.
Sean,
so I know
write,
when to
Sean, write down the
bleep it
time.
out.
Like, write down right now exactly the time.
God, this guy's going to go on
All right?
a parade.
Hey. All right.
Do I bleep out that? Do I bleep out that whole thing?
Yeah, you should.
Okay, I'll bleep out the whole thing.
Solid 10 seconds of just
Yeah.
Because I feel like they would target us, and I'd
Yeah,
probably
they
put
probably
because anyway.
Oh, so I gotta bleep that out too.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming. So we're gonna talk about Memorial Day today. Woohoo!
Memorial Day.
I mean, is it kind of like a sad thing?
It is.
I mean, it is kind of a sad.
I don't know if it's a sad thing.
It's kind of like you're remembering.
You got to remember why we're able to live in the country that we live in today, because
of those pipe hitters that stack bodies.
Is not free.
Nope.
Not free at all. I don't care what people say, what people think.
And even if you think like the war we did or what we were doing was unjust, right? Take that up with the politicians.
Yep.
Don't take that up with the soldiers who are out there fighting, okay?
Yep.
They're just listening.
They're listening to orders.
Someone's going to be like, they're just following orders. Well, that's what the Nazis did. All right, okay, whatever. But they're just doing what they think is in the best interest of their country.
Yep.
Anyway, so Memorial Day was originally called Decoration Day.
Ah.
And it started on May 30th, 1868.
Damn.
And it was to commemorate not the Confederates, because fuck you, but the Union soldiers.
Oh, really?
Who died fighting in the Civil War.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
So,
I didn't know that.
But in 1873, New York officially designated it a legal holiday.
Huh.
And it honors and mourns U.S. military personnel, as we have been talking about. And so the way we're going to get into this, all right, boys and girls, is we're going to talk about every single war.
Every single war. So
except I left out the Gulf War.
4 hours.
I left out the Gulf War because, I was like,
yeah, Gulf War.
I mean, it was a war, but...
Yeah, and I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't want to say the big wars, but like key.
Yeah.
Like World War I, World War II.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about like the wars and then like feats of heroism. And then we're just going to get into like, crazy stories and stuff like that.
Yep.
Not every single person I'm going to talk about died doing their feat of heroism, but it was more of like that they were willing to sacrifice their life. Even if it's not for the country, but for the people on their left and right,
Yeah.
Like for their fellow countrymen. So the first one we're going to get into is World War I. And World War I, okay, we lost 116,516 U.S. soldiers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that was just in World War. Like they hardly talk about it. You know what I mean? How many our soldiers absolutely fighting in World War I? Like you see, like you hear about the French, you hear about the Brits, hear about the Germans, hear about the bro. They don't even get into the Ottoman Empire in World War I unless you talk about the Australians that were fighting the Turks.
Really?
Yeah, like hardcore.
Wow.
Maybe we'll have a World War I episode. But on September 26, 1918, right? So one of the offensives that we lost the most American soldier was the, I'm going to say it wrong because I'm pretty sure this is French, Meuse-Argonne offensive, right? So it lasted from September 28th to 1918. Well, September 26th, 1918, until the armistice on November 11th, 1918, which is 47 days of fighting. We used 1.2 million U.S. soldiers, right? It was across the entire front.
Oh my god.
So we basically hey, everyone across this front is going to go and fucking fight.
Okay.
1.2 million soldiers.
Oh my Jesus.
So there was a guy named Sergeant Henry Johnson, right? He was an African American. He was one of the he got it post, after he died, but he
Okay.
didn't die in combat. He died later on.
Okay.
And then until recently is when they gave him the Medal of Honor because, they're racist fucks back then. So what happened was he was inside of basically in a trench with his friend. And sometimes what the Germans would do is they would send raiding parties. And the whole goal of the raiding party is to capture...
In World War One.
In World War One, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's to capture an American soldier, to bring him back to their lines, to interrogate him and see what the plan is of attack or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So he was inside of basically the trench with one of his friends. I don't have the name of his friend. But they attacked at night, and he's fighting he gets wounded. He gets shot 2 or 3 times.
Jeez.
And he kills a couple of them, and then they start trying to drag off one of his friends, right? So he pulls out his bolo knife and goes up to one of the Germans who's dragging off his friend and stabs him in the head, right? But they're fighting, full-on hand-to-hand fighting. Yeah. And he's able to break it, because it's hard to find, the exact story, because he died, I think, in, the 40s. So, and then so they're, writing the citation from, an officer who wrote it down.
Okay.
So they said he, stabbed him in the head, and he fought off the other ones. And he was able to break the attack and, rescue his friend. And then even though he was, severely wounded, and basically pull him out,
yeah,
this might suck, but,
yeah,
but it's just, crazy to think about, you and your friend sitting on a trench. Germans come, they shoot me, shoot you. Then they're trying to drag you off and kill a couple of them. He's probably out of rounds in his bolt action.
Yeah.
Pulls out his a fucking knife, dude. And goes and works. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Goes and absolutely slaughters.
Crazy.
And that's one of the there's some other feats of heroism for World War One, but none of them are as crazy as that one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some crazier ones.
I'm sure there's crazy. I'm sure there's a ton of stories out there, right? That we're not.
But it's very hard to find.
Get to every single one of them.
Okay, I know. We briefly talked about World War One, but we have some really long ones coming up.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna World War One, crazy. Now we're into World War Two.
Yep, World War Two.
So World War Two, we lost 405,399 U.S. soldiers.
What?
Yeah.
400 and what?
405,399.
Jesus.
All right, I gotta hop back to my notes. Hold on.
Go to the notes. While Javi's talking notes, how are you doing out there today? I hope this podcast doesn't bring you
All
down.
right.
Just
so
Memorial Day.
The first one we're going to talk about, right, is one of my favorites. If you've ever seen The Pacific, you know about this guy, right? His name was he was a gunnery sergeant, John Basilone, okay?
Okay.
So on Guadalcanal, that is where he got his Medal of Honor, all right?
Okay.
So Guadalcanal, brutal.
Yeah. Fighting
the Japanese. I believe that's where our Navy kind of got defeated, and then our guys were stuck on the island for a little bit. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was Guadalcanal. And then what happened was they took the airfield, right?
Yep.
And this is the Marines before they got M1 Grands. So they had bolt action Springfields, right? And they had the water-cooled machine guns from back then.
Jeez.
So John Basilone was I believe at this time he was a squad leader for the machine gun team, I guess. And so he was on the perimeter of the airfield, and they knew the Japanese were going to push him, right? So he's on his machine gun, waiting for them to come, and the Japanese launch a illumination flare.
Okay.
Right? Bunch of them, dude. And they set up barbed wire.
Instantly thought about that scene from We Were Soldiers.
Yeah.
We Were Soldiers.
Were they right on top of them?
Yeah, they're literally right on top of them. They're all
what was smart about them is they had their emplacements. So they had they put little fucking pillboxes, little bunkers, little trench.
Yeah.
And then they had of course, barbed wire and stuff like that.
I was thinking of that scene from Hacksaw Ridge where he falls asleep and he's having a dream. And he wakes up and he sees the flare go up. And he peeks over the top of the trench. and there's just one of them sitting right there, looking right at
Jeez,
him.
yeah. Nope. Mm-mm.
Brutal, dude. World War II,
Nothing
I would
to-
say, fighting the Japanese as a Marine, probably one of the most brutal fighting. I mean, the
God.
Germans, okay, but the Japanese were fanatical.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they would just throw their bodies at you. Like, they don't care. They'd rather die than be dishonored or fucking, like, surrender.
Yeah.
It was to the end.
They also like juiced them up too. So
Mhm, with drugs, right?
yeah,
Yep.
like heroin and shit.
Just like
That's a fact.
just like the Nazis with
Mhm.
amphetamines.
Yep. That's a
Hey,
fact.
little known fact: the Nazis were taking meth.
Kamikazes.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, kamikazes were in that state of mind because they were juiced up. Yeah.
Drugs.
It constantly freaks me out, like thinking about the Vietnam one.
Yeah, get closer to your mic a little bit, man. You got a
Sorry.
pop filter now.
Thinking about the Vietnam War and like them hiding in the trees.
Yeah.
Yep.
That shit's scary.
Right, trust me, we're gonna get into that. So anyway, John Basilone, Guadalcanal, who's part of 1st Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st Marine Division. So essentially what happened was they started pushing them, and it was at night, so not during the day. And he just starts having at it, right, with his machine gun. And there's instances where like it would jam, and he would have to pull his pistol and start engaging them with his pistol, right? And he got like 3rd-degree burns on his
Okay.
arm because one of the other positions, their machine gun jammed, and he was displacing himself, moving to their position to back them up.
Yeah.
But he forgot he couldn't find the mitt. So, the machine gun's stupid hot.
Yeah.
Bare hands it, right? Burning his skin and
Oh,
stuff.
God.
Pushes over there, helps break the Japanese push over there. And according to this, right, he killed, okay, Matt,
I'm listening.
that night, 38 Japanese fighters by himself with just his machine gun and just the pistol.
What?
Yep,
How many?
38
Just him by himself.
by himself. He was attributed with 38 kills that night.
God.
Yep.
Dude, that is insane.
Just like to think about that. Like, you killed 38 guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's
seriously.
But here's the sad thing, right? So he goes and he basically, they're like, oh, you did outstanding work. So you're going to go on like a victory tour and get us more war bonds, right? So he does that and he starts like missing the fight, missing his friends. So he starts training at, I don't know if it was Pendleton or where, training Marines. And he's the one who comes up with, on the machine gun, the 1919. This is after they used, I don't know which one the water cooled one is. I always forget.
Okay.
But he makes a kind of like, basically like wires that you slink over the barrel so you can pick it up and fire it from the hip. And he's like, he came up with kind of, I believe he's the one who was attributed with that idea
Wow.
because he said it was a pain to, pick up and try to fire from the hip. The other
He would
machine
know,
gun.
right?
Yeah, exactly, right? So what sucks so much though is that he trained Marines and he deployed with them. He deployed with them when they were going to hit Iwo Jima, right? Which if you out there don't know about Iwo Jima, it's like called like the Sulphur Rock or something like that, and it is probably the bloodiest battle of World War II. Like the Marines called it the meat grinder. If you were like a hero, like there's so many instances of guys that had valor there that got medals, but they died. Like, well, there was one dude, a story I read a while back. He would move to and from the beach,
Okay.
getting wounded, and then he would, like, at one point, as he was coming back to the beach, I believe an artillery shell just smoked him. Because what the Japanese did was they pre-ranged the beach, and they pre-ranged even out to the ocean, because they knew where our landing crafts were going to be and all that. So that when they put artillery pieces in Mount Suribachi, which is the big mountain over there, they kind of cut tunnels into the mountain. So they had artillery guns where they would come out, fire, and then they'd pull them back in. And they would be like extremely well camouflaged. So they had the beach zeroed, where like as soon as they were getting off the landing craft, like just absolute slaughter. But
Damn.
so he was a part of that, right? He died on their D-Day.
Okay.
He died clearing a Japanese blockhouse, which is like, you know, a fortified structure.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. He got Guadalcanal, got the Medal of Honor, right?
Yep.
Then he's like, I need to be fighting with like my friends. You know what I mean? I can't be the only one who's back while everyone else, all the other Marines are fighting and dying. So he goes on Iwo Jima, clearing out a blockhouse, dies. Like, it's just like, people don't understand, like, movies and all that. Like, yeah, you can be a hero, but it doesn't mean you're not going to die.
Yeah.
Because there were so many guys who got the Medal of Honor doing crazy heroic stuff, and they died.
I was looking for this because this is one of my, Reagan had this speech that he did for Memorial Day. I think they said 1985. And this is his name is, Private Martin Treptow or something like that. He had almost reached his goal. He was running, messages back and forth. Mm-hmm. Literally running on 2 feet, right? And he had almost reached, where he needed to go when a machine gun dropped him. When they found his body, they found a journal. And in the journal, he wrote, "My pledge, America must win this war. Therefore, I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure, I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone."
Damn.
That, and he was a private, dude. He was a private.
Yep.
Like, just running messages back and forth, though. That I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure, I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone.
It's crazy.
It's reading those words, dude, and to have that, you know, that mind of America, right? Like, and knowing what you're fighting for while you're out there. It's just crazy to me.
All right. So we're going to get into another one from World War II.
Okay.
He is the only dentist to receive the Medal of Honor.
A dentist?
Yeah, okay.
I'm all ears, buddy.
This dude, savage.
Okay.
All right? Absolute fucking savage. So his name was Captain Benjamin L. Solomon, right?
Yep.
So Solomon, he was a dentist before the war, but he joined the army as a combat medic in 1940. And on July 7th, 1944, while serving as a dentist and a field surgeon with the 2nd Battalion, 105th Infantry Regiment, 27th Infantry Division in the Pacific Theater, he was in charge of an aid station near Saipan, okay?
Okay.
So, the Japanese launched a massive assault on all American lines, okay? So, an aid station, it's where wounded soldiers are taken a little bit far back from the front lines to get, like, treatment, whether that be, like, surgery or, like, mainly, like, surgery, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, when you have, like, horrible wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Solomon did was he ordered, like, the wounded to be evacuated, but he still stayed behind to provide medical aid and to defend the aid station against the Japanese. So, the Japanese attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
His aid station. And there was a wounded soldier with a Browning 1919. That's a machine gun.
Okay.
The belt-fed one that...
Yeah.
So what he did was he picked up that belt-fed machine gun, right? Picked up that, and he had his pistol with him. And he killed 98 Japanese soldiers.
What?
Yup.
What'd you say his name was?
His name was Captain Benjamin L. Solomon. Fucking whack.
That's
98
crazy.
Japanese soldiers, right?
All on his own. A dentist. God.
Right? And so, because of that, many wounded soldiers were able to evacuate, right?
Uh-huh.
And he saved, like, a bunch of lives. But, like, 98 Japanese soldiers.
Did he make it?
No. He got overwhelmed and killed. Yeah, he died in the action. Like, he...
Yeah.
But I couldn't find how long he was up for, but that was probably a minute to kill 98.
98? Need to drop 98?
And especially if they're fucking, like, you know, because the Japanese, not to say they didn't have tactics, but there were some instances where they just charged, like banzai charges.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, there was the largest banzai charge, which was like 5,000 Japanese soldiers.
5,000?
Yeah, they didn't survive.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, I forget. It was because one of the, I think, generals, like, it was either surrender or banzai charge. And they were like, well, surrendering's for bitches. So,
Let's do it.
banzai charge the American lines.
Damn.
He wasn't awarded the Medal of Honor, though, until 2002. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Which is...
That's a long time.
It is a long time. Some people are like, oh, like, you know, that's myth. Like... But I'm like, there's no way, like...
Like it's a legend or something?
No, not like a legend, but some people say, like, us Americans, we fluff the numbers on kills in combat. But, like, what I've heard is, like, we're pretty good at verifying kills. Because I think in order to verify a kill, don't quote me on this, an officer or someone who's like a high, not a high rank, but like an officer or higher NCO, like, okay, you killed, like, verify the kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 98, dude.
That's crazy.
So that's for World War II, right? I'm just touching on like 2 Medal of Honor recipients per war, right? So the next one we're going to get into.
Real quick.
Yeah.
How long do you think we've been recording? No, like that one.
An hour?
Just almost.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I want to talk about this guy. His name is Lakman Gurung. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Okay.
During World War II, he was holding a position somewhere.
Okay.
And as he was going to throw a grenade, it exploded in his hand.
Okay.
He held that position against 200 enemy soldiers for 4 hours using only his left hand.
What? He
blew off his hand. And then he left-handed held off 200 enemy soldiers.
For how long?
4 hours.
Did he die?
No. He's still alive.
He's still alive to this today?
Yeah.
What war was that?
World War II.
God.
Bro.
Damn.
Hey. They don't make them like they used to.
No, honestly.
Dude.
He killed 31 Japanese.
Dude.
That's...
God.
It's crazy.
Oh, and then so now we're gonna get into the Korean War. Some say the Forgotten War.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is like the Korean War was probably the most brutal, dude. Like once we started pushing back the Koreans, right, and then the Chinese jumped in, it was just kind of like, hey, see that American position over there? Yeah. Bum rush it. Like the Battle of Chosin Reservoir. Okay. I tried looking for Medal of Honor recipient from there, but I couldn't find one. So the Battle of Chosin Reservoir, insanely crazy. I believe the number was, this is when I looked it up in high school, 3,000 Marines versus around 60,000 Chinese soldiers. And they stacked bodies. I think they said the Marines killed around like 50K Chinese soldiers. I mean, we still lost the position.
Yeah.
Because obviously. It's like, you know.
At some point you can get overran.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what ammo?
Yeah, seriously.
And so, Forgotten War, really interesting. We had a lot of soldiers like freeze to death during that war. We had a lot of like hand-to-hand like a lot of soldiers hand-to-hand encounters.
Yeah. Like
one of the most savage wars. But we lost 36,574, right?
Okay.
So there is one guy who, I'm talking about 2 guys for the Medal of Honor. I couldn't find his unit or what rank he was, but it's Charles Abrell, right? So what happened was him and his unit were pushing on basically like a ridge, but it was like a in-place enemy with machine gun bunkers and stuff.
Okay.
And the squad in front of him gets pinned down. So he pushes up to them, pushes past them, right? Gets shot 2 to 3 times, okay? Still continues going. Okay. Gets to the bunker, pulls the pin of a grenade, jumps in, kills himself with everyone in the machine gun bunker. Because they said, I believe it was because he was mortally wounded. So he was like...
He was at the point where he was like, I'm not going to make it.
He was like, fuck it, might as well take these guys with me. Yeah. And he's attributed with allowing them to basically take the position. Yep. Okay.
Dude,
I might have goofed. I forgot someone from World War II.
Okay.
We're going to jump back really quick, folks. So this dude went to Central Catholic. I graduated there for those that don't know. His Medal of Honor, it's not the real one, but we have a little thing
Like
when
a
you
replica?
Yeah, we have the little thing when you walk in. It gives a story, and his Medal of Honor's there. His name was William J. Bordelon. So he was a staff sergeant. He was a part of 1st Battalion, 18th Marine, 2nd Marine Division. He got his Medal of Honor on Tarawa on the 20th of November, 1943. So when they hit the beach, immediately like taken under fire, right?
For sure.
Everyone in his landing craft died except for him and 3 other people. And I think on the landing craft there was like maybe 15 people.
Oh,
right?
God, okay.
So what he did was...
Have you seen that Family Guy where Brian's like telling Stewie a story? He's like, okay. And he's like all nervous and scared. Right? That's how I feel right now, dude. Just be, okay.
So basically what happened was his job was to... he was a demolitions expert, so his job was to destroy pillboxes with satchel charges. Yeah. So he gets the first one. As he's moving to the second one, he gets shot 2 times, right? Still arms his charge, throws it in, goes off. I believe he helped our guys with first aid. So like he would take them to like where the landing zone was to kind of like an aid station, come back. He was moving to the 3rd pillbox, right? So on the 3rd pillbox, he got hit again while moving the charge on the 3rd pillbox, right? But he still stayed fighting. Okay? Goes to the 4th pillbox, throws his charge, dies. Like,
can you tell everybody what a pillbox is?
So a pillbox is basically like a think about like, I don't know if people keep up with the Ukraine or if you've played any video games. It's like basically a trench where they build kind of like probably the Japanese were using wood. So they would build kind of like a wood roof, wood siding. Sometimes they'd use concrete. And it's basically, you have slits, like gun ports, and they would put a machine gun to shoot out of the gun ports. But the slits are like narrow, where like taking return fire. It's hard to get the machine gunner when you're shooting at him at the pillbox, but it's easy for him to get you because he has all this range, like field of fire, essentially.
Yep.
So his job was to take out those pillboxes so that follow-on forces, like other landing craft, whether that be the 2nd or 3rd wave, could successfully take the beach. So his job is to essentially take the beachhead so that we can push more forces and continue on taking the island. But so when he was arming his charge for the 4th pillbox, basically they said he was able to get it in. Like he throws it in and then takes like a fatal shot and dies. But imagine that. Like he got shot, 2nd pillbox, still continues, takes out the 3rd, and then he's like, okay, I still got to keep fighting. Goes to the 4th, and he doesn't think about himself like, oh, maybe I should get first aid. Yeah. Maybe I should lay here and feel sorry about keeps going.
God, dude.
Fucking
That's crazy to think about. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Just the will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, back to the Korean War. There's a guy that was named Stanley Adams. I didn't get the unit or his rank, right? So it was 1 a.m, okay? 150 Chinese rush his position at 1 a.m. So, guess what he does? Gets 13 guys.
Okay.
Tells them to fix bayonets. And they rush at the 150 Chinese rushing his position. Right?
13 guys. Against 150.
Yes. Rushing them out like... Fix bayonets, basically, he puts a bayonet on his rifle, which is
a knife.
Decent, a knife. It's probably like a decent length though, like 6-7 inches. Mm-hmm. And he runs at the oncoming enemy force and goes hand to hand with them, basically. Like stabbing, killing people with the butt of his rifle. Him and his 13 guys are attributed with killing anywhere from 50 to 80 of the attackers.
Bro. What?
Yes.
With bayonets?
With bayonets. I mean, of course, they probably fired a shot for sure.
I'm sure you shot a few of them.
But 50 to 80.
Dude.
Imagine the brave...
Still mind blown.
You see
150 guys rushing at you?
Yeah.
And you're just... Let's do it.
You're like, hey, guys, fix bayonets.
Let's load up and go. God, Jesus. Dude. Talk about freedom not being free. It's not free to get freedom.
Nope.
And the reason why we're going over this is because this is why we celebrate. This is why on Memorial Day you take the time to sit down, be with your family, and enjoy the land that we are in.
And
no matter what side you're on.
Yeah, and some people are like, oh, well, you know, it's a little cringe. Like, what do you mean cringe? Like, we are basically like, we're talking about acts of heroism on Memorial Day when we're supposed to, like, not to say, like, there's probably, you know, guys out there who died doing acts of heroism and they weren't, they weren't like given awards, they weren't looked at. But let's be real, most of these guys aren't doing these acts of heroisms for awards.
No.
That's not why they're there.
Nope.
Most of them could care less if they're given medals. You know what I mean?
A lot of men and women would turn down medals.
Yep.
Like, because that's not what they did it for. They didn't do it. They didn't do it for medal. They didn't do it to get decorated.
Yep.
They did it to fight for their country.
Mm-hmm.
God.
All right. So now we're getting into Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam. Oh, Vietnam.
All right. Okay, this one's gonna be a long fucking story.
Is this the one I'm thinking of?
Yes, it is.
Oh, dude.
All right, hold on. So,
Sean, you got to listen to this story, dude, because it's.
Oh, hit the mic.
It's okay. You're good. This is a really long story, but we talk about acts of heroism. Like, this is another level of.
All right, I'm gonna be reading a lot from my
sure.
phone, so please don't shit on me.
Please don't shit on him. Please.
Yeah.
He's just a boy. I hope everybody celebrates Memorial Day this year. No matter what side of the party
Hold
you're
on,
on.
I'm hopping between.
You know, I've never been tempted to fight somebody, but
Hey, you're still far away from your mic, man.
Sorry.
Probably have to look at it when you're talking.
At the school that I go to, you know, we don't even do the pledge anymore.
Y'all don't do the pledge in school anymore?
Yo.
Yeah,
Bro,
that
not
sucks.
everyone believes in God.
We did it for like the first 4 months, maybe 5 months.
Oh, they just stopped it.
No. Like, they stopped it back in December.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they just stopped it this year.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
And even when they were doing it, I didn't see a lot of people stand up.
That sucks.
Yep, they just don't fucking
That
care.
really sucks.
But your A rates.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing too, is that like no matter which way you put it, America is a fantastic country. When you're able to go and when you're able to live in a country and be able to say shit you want to say.
Yeah, you
'Cause
can,
you
you
can.
can shit on this country as much as you want.
Yeah.
You can protest, bro. Nobody cares.
Yep.
You're not gonna get thrown in the back of the van and then smoke
Nope.
later.
And I think that's what most people don't understand and they don't see. Like have you seen the protests in Russia?
Immediately snatched up.
Thrown in the back of a van and taken away. Or like a year or two ago when they were protesting in Cuba.
Or in China.
They were protesting in Cuba and Cuban soldiers started opening fire on civilians.
Can't forget China or Iran does the
And
same
then
thing.
Cuba, what else they did too is they cut off all communication. So that way they couldn't post about that stuff on the internet.
Yeah,
And so word couldn't get out.
it's crazy.
Like that doesn't happen in the United States. You know what I mean? Sure. Is there flaws?
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
But tell me, your relationship don't got flaws out there?
Yeah. Like, especially in the grand scheme of things, we're a new country.
Yeah,
We're not an
pretty
old country.
No, not like Britain or France or Italy or Spain.
Nowhere.
Any
Yeah.
European country.
Nope. China, like, we're not that old.
No.
And that's not to say that things aren't great, because they are. You live in one of the, if not the freest country in the world,
Yes.
where you can go out there and you can say shit you want to say, and you
Yep.
don't get thrown in the back of a van, and hauled away. And if you think that is, if you think that's just bullshit, that we're just making that shit up, like, look it up. Take a couple of minutes, to look up how, protests and riots work in China or in North Korea. What protest? Yeah,
Yep.
seriously.
Hey, but if you want to live in your echo chamber and not see outside views, then go ahead and not look it up.
Yeah. Like,
just turn off the podcast now if you want to live in your echo chamber.
Seriously.
But anyway, so in Vietnam, we lost 58,220 soldiers.
Damn.
And that's not including the 1,585 that are still MIA.
Still MIA?
You know, whether they were captured or any other crazy shit. All right. So the person we're going to talk about is Sergeant Benavidez. I'm pretty sure you've heard, if you've anywhere on the internet looked at Mr. Ball and stuff or any of that, you would kind of know the story.
Yep.
I'm going to talk from my phone a lot because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's Mr. Benavidez' story is a long story, but it's one of the craziest I've ever heard of.
So Sergeant Benavidez was a Green Beret, and he was helping out SOG teams, MACV SOG teams. If you don't know what those are, look that up. I'll probably explain that after I tell you the story. So one of them, as soon as they get to their landing zone, gets in like insane contact with the Northern Vietnamese army to the point that almost all team members are dead or wounded. So Sergeant Benavidez, they tried one extraction, then they go and try to extract them a second time because I believe the first helicopter got shot up bad. Mm-hmm. So Sergeant Benavidez volunteers to go for the second extraction, right?
Okay.
So what he does is he directs the aircraft to basically to a clearing. Like, hey, land over here as they're coming in because they're taking fire.
Yeah.
And most of the team members cannot move because they're either dead or wounded to the basically the landing zone. So he jumps out of the helicopter as it's hovering, right?
Okay.
He runs 75 meters under small arms fire to basically the crippled team, and he gets wounded in the legs, face, and head, right? And yeah, so he takes, I believe he got shot in the leg and the arm, and I think he took shrapnel to the face. And despite these injuries, he takes charge and directs the team's fire to facilitate the landing of the extraction helicopter. So he basically takes charge of the situation, and he's like, hey, fire in these areas, whatever. So he throws smoke. So after he does that, he throws smoke to direct the aircraft to the team's position, right? He carries and drags half the wounded team members to the awaiting aircraft himself, right? He provides...
All while wounded already.
All while wounded already. And he provides protective fire by running alongside the aircraft as it moves to pick up the remaining teammates, right?
Okay.
So he's moving alongside of it as they're still under fire. He goes to the dead team leader's body, right? After he's getting the wounded, takes the classified documents, and he gets the dead body of the team leader.
Okay. God.
So as he's taking it to the helicopter, right? He gets it on the helicopter. Helicopter starts taking off, right? Because he's like, aircraft pilot, the helicopter pilot.
Okay.
Gets shot and dies. Helicopter crashes.
God. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So Benavidez, still alive, he aids the wounded and gets him out of the overturned aircraft, and he gathers a survivor while wounded and sets up defensive perimeter, right?
So he's wounded in 3 different areas.
Yep.
Already brought the dead bodies to the aircraft.
And the wounded to the aircraft.
Gets on, takes off, gets shot out of the air again. Crashes, and then he gets out and takes everybody out of the helicopter.
Puts him on security, puts him on the perimeter, right? As he's wounded. And he is basically getting on the radio and he's directing airstrikes and suppressing the enemy fire so that another helicopter can come in, right? He gets wounded again. So 4th time. He gets shot in the thigh while he's giving first aid to somebody else. Right?
Okay. Jesus Christ.
And then there's an instance while he's carrying the wounded to the new extraction helicopter because it was able to land, where he gets hit by the butt of an NVA rifle, right? So he gets hit by the butt of an NVA rifle because they're trying to get him to surrender. Mm-hmm. And I believe he pushes it aside and strips it out of the NVA's hand, and he kills him and the other dude who had him at gunpoint. I believe he bayonets one and then shoots the other one. Right?
Oh
So
my God.
he does that, and then he continues to carry the wounded to the helicopter. Then he sees 2 enemy soldiers as he's loading them into the helicopter, rushing the aircraft from an angle that the door gunner couldn't see them. So he picks up his rifle, kills both of those guys. Then he makes one last trip to the perimeter, making sure all classified materials collected or destroyed, and then he brings in the remaining wounded, right? And then when they pull him into the helicopter, he's in extremely serious condition from wounds and the loss of blood, right?
Okay.
Survives, goes on. Think about being that much of a savage, where you just getting off the just like, hey, that team's in bad contact.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over there.
I'm going to jump out.
As we're hovering.
Yeah.
Kind of help them out. Try to get them to the helicopter. I get wounded on my way running 75 yards. I get shot, take fragmentation. I'm going to keep fighting. Take the wounded to the helicopter. Still under fire. Probably fighting back. Load them into the helicopter. Going to take off. Our pilot just got shot and killed. How do you not give up hope? Pilot gets shot and killed. Crash. I'm going to pull everyone out of the crash. I'm going to set them up on a perimeter. I'm going to direct another helicopter. Yeah, airstrikes and another helicopter. Now the other helicopter comes in. Now I'm going to load wounded. Oh, I just got hit in the back of the head by an AK. I'm going to strip that from the dude who hit me, stab him with it, shoot the guy who's with him. Then I'm going to continue loading the wounded. And look, there's 2 guys running. I'm going to pick up my rifle, kill both of them.
And then still make another lap to make sure that there's nothing else.
Yep. And then now, after all this blood loss, I'm going to get on the helicopter and dip out.
Dude.
What a fucking savage.
What a fucking savage, dude. What a fucking, talk about American hero.
100%.
Dude.
Dude's it, it's guys like that
you have to look up Mr. Benavidez. I think I saw him
I'm giving you very TLDR of his story.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the full story, but I'm not giving you the intricate details.
Yeah. I think he did a commencement speech for graduation or something. And even his speech, dude, goes hard. Especially when you know, what he did.
Yeah.
And what he went through, you're like, oh, dude.
Bro, and speaking of Green Berets and Mac v. SOG, most people out there don't know what Mac v. SOG did, which is fucking crazy, man. They would go into Cambodia and Laos, where we're not supposed to be, with sterile uniforms, with they're called Montagnards. So Montagnards are the indigenous people of Vietnam. It would be let's say a 6-man team. 3 to 4 of those would be the indigenous people.
Yeah.
We're talking 16 to 15-year-old Vietnamese soldiers with the Mac v. SOG teams, with the Green Berets. And you volunteered to be part of Mac v. SOG because no one was going to know what you were doing in Vietnam. It was top secret.
Yeah.
Because you were going into Cambodia and Laos, you're looking for divisions of NVA, and then you were calling in airstrikes on them. So on average, a Mac v. SOG soldier who was a Mac v. SOG, a Green Beret, he would carry, if you look at John Stryker Meyer, he has a lot of interviews with Jocko and all that. They would carry on average 800 to 1,000 rounds for their CAR-15s, and they would carry about 20 hand grenades.
Damn.
And they would only take water, 1 canteen of water with them. They would not take anything, no food, no nothing, just guns, ammo, weapons, ammo, and water.
And this is what he was a part of.
Yes.
So he was bred a fucking badass.
So it was basically, I don't know if he was really a part of SOG teams because he wasn't really brought up. But at the same time, you have to look at either the Frenchman, he came out with the book, and then John Stryker Meyer's the historian for Mac v. SOG. He was a part of Mac v. SOG. He's been in crazy fucking situations with Mac v. SOG. There's an instance John Stryker Meyer talks about where they're bedding down for the night, and I think he's in Cambodia, and it's pitch black, right? You're in the middle of the jungle. Once nighttime falls, you stay in your position. Some guys set up security, but you don't move because it's so dark. And they'd see lanterns on the road from all the Northern Vietnamese army. And on average, whenever they would fight guys, they were fighting a division to a company. So they were fighting anywhere from 400 to 1,000 guys a 6-man to 12-man team at most. So their biggest asset was like airstrikes. But anyway, so he was talking about how one time he saw a lamp and 2 Northern Vietnamese soldiers on the road. Then the lamp goes out. He's like, where the fuck did they go, right? And he's waiting, and he kind of lays on his back with his car 15, and he notices when the wind's blowing, he hears something. And then when the wind stops, it stops. When the wind blows, he hears it. When it stops, it stops. So he hears it from behind him, so he kind of slowly flips on his back, and it aims his rifle like between his legs where he's hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
The Northern Vietnamese soldiers flanked around, and they were crawling to him, and they hit their foot on his. They grab his boot. The dude was crawling, and he stops. Right, and I believe John Striker Meyer says the dude kind of like pushes his barrel against the dude's head. And he didn't want to fire because then it would completely blow the mission.
Yeah, then they would know. Yeah,
like they would get the whole division on them, right? Yep. You know what the Vietnamese soldier does? Slowly backs away and just never freaking. They don't fight. No, nothing.
Backs out.
Backs
dips.
out. Dips.
Oh my god.
He disconnected. Like the meme. Just you got to get his books across the fence, and there's some other ones, but just crazy encounters. Like there's one where one of the Montagnards. That's what he calls them, the Indige. Yeah. I'm telling you, they're like, some of them are 15 to 16-year-old kids, bro, carrying AKs or Car 15s fighting the Northern Vietnamese army with these Green Berets.
Yeah.
But see, they're wearing sterile uniforms. So even if there would be teams that would go, they'd never hear from them again after they dropped them off. So they don't even know what happened to them to this day.
Damn.
They would just assume they all got wiped out or whatever.
Yeah.
And the Northern Vietnamese army was smart. I'm not talking about, the Viet Cong. That's different. Those were
Viet Cong are totally different.
Yeah, those are like basically like militiamen.
Mm-hmm.
So the Northern Vietnamese army on these landing fields, because they knew about MACV SOG teams, they would run a guide wire right across. Mm-hmm. They'd have it like hooked up to like 155 millimeter artillery shell. So when the helicopters coming into land, it would hit the tripwire and it would detonate the artillery shell in the ground and kill everyone. So they had to pay attention to that. And then there was something called like prairie fire emergency.
Okay.
And they would call that whenever like they were being attacked. And they would just get as many aircraft as they can to them and just drop like napalm bombs. You know the spooky gunship? Or it's like the grandfather of the AC-130.
Okay.
So it was basically a propeller aircraft that they would have a minigun on it. And it would just... But they were so ingenious because it was like when night vision was first coming out. So inside of the their 40 millimeter grenade launchers, they would have like a strobe that they would put in the barrel, and they would like shine it up at the aircraft, so the aircraft knows not to hit them, but to hit around them. And John Striker Meyer has some stories where like he would be asking them to hit like 50 yards, 20 yards in front of them, and just pray that the minigun didn't kill him.
What?
Yeah, and their casualty rate for MACV SOG teams was 90%.
90%?
Yes.
Dude.
And he even has a story where one of the Indige was like wounded so bad, and he goes back to get him, and he's like, "Come on, like, because he was down to, I think he was picking up 8Ks at that point because they were out of ammo and everything, and he's like, "Come on, let's go, like, we need to leave," and the Indige's like, he's too wounded, he's like, "I die," and blows his brains out because he doesn't want to be captured.
Oh,
and he was like, I just slow him down. I just slow you down. So he just blows his brains out. Yeah, it's in his books. It's in his interviews. Crazy. Or like, there's another crazy story of like, I'm pretty sure it's a Cobra gunship pilot. I have it here in my notes. Cobra gunship pilot. Or like, they were being called because a FOB was being attacked. A FOB is a forward operating base. But there was only advisors on that FOB. So U.S. advisors. So basically an advisor trains this, like the indigenous military to that country. So like the Green Berets are most of the time advisors. So they're teaching the Southern Vietnamese army how to be fighters, tactics, and they're going on raids with them, of course. So it was like a paratrooper regiment for the Southern Vietnamese army, and their FOB was being attacked. And the Cobra gunship pilot, he gets called up to go and help. he says it's like ants. Like, you see so many Viet Cong pushing over the lines. You see tanks. He's hitting as much as he can. He runs out of ammo. He has to go rearm, refuel, come back. And at that point, one of the American advisors is like, just drop it right, like, on top of us. Like, inside the compound, inside of, like, just hit everything, right?
Yep.
And so they do. So the number was, I think they had 450 Southern Vietnamese soldiers in that compound, right? And like 3 or 4 American advisors. When they hit the extraction point, there's only 6 dudes left, including 1 American advisor. Yeah. Some of the stories out of Vietnam are like, people are like, oh, you know, it's whatever. Like, no, like, we had instances, like, during, like, we were soldiers. After that battle, the helicopters didn't come and pick everyone up. You know, they made some guys walk back to base.
What?
Yeah, so, like, an entire platoon was ambushed walking back, wiped them out to the last man. And when they went to go recover the bodies, a lot of them had point-blank shots from AKs. Because what the Viet Cong, or the Northern Vietnamese Army would do is they'd walk up to our dead and just shoot them in the head to double check
sure
that they were dead, right?
My dad's uncle was one of those guys that in We Were Soldiers.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he was there?
He was there. If you look at the end credits when they're going to the list of names, I can't remember his last name, but his first name is Albert. And he told us a story one time at my parents' house. We were sitting in the kitchen. Yeah, I know it's running out, right?
It's not.
I've got butane down here. What do you call it? He was telling us a story about him, like, running, like, when they were running up the hill, like, he said, like, the I don't even, I guess, vibe of everybody was like, we're not going to make it out of this. So we need to see how many we can take out with us.
Yep.
And he said all he remembers is that he said that the movie, like, does it to a T almost, because he said that all he remembers was running up and, like, the mountain was kind of like, so obviously the mountain's up, right? But then it kind of like plateaued a little bit and then it went back up again. He said once they got over that first ridge, all he saw was a gunner sitting there just waiting. Because they knew they were rushing up, right?
Yeah.
Gunner just waiting there. They said they come over the ridge and it just started. So the guy next to him, just blown. Just gone.
That's how it be.
Do y'all know what tunnel rats were?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dude, those are freaky.
Here's a 5 lumen flashlight and a 1911. Go into that hole.
But
it's like the scene in Forrest Gump. Like when he gives him the flashlight and he's like, they like open up the hole or whatever and he's like, check it. And he's like, okay. And he just jumps in like that. That's how it was. That's exactly how it was.
So they said,
when they were looking for Charlie in the woods.
I was watching something earlier.
I don't know if that's racist or not.
Charlie?
I think so.
Nah.
I was watching something earlier. And there's this guy saying that the tunnels were like 3 feet tall.
Yep.
Yeah,
They put the smallest guys in there, right?
Yeah. And it's just you, a flashlight, and a pistol. And most of the time they said, don't turn on your flashlight. It's going to tell them where you are. Don't turn on unless you know you're alone.
Most of those dudes had AKs, so.
Yeah. And they said they would put like booby traps. And the guy on there was saying that they would take turns. And sometimes the guy would go in, they'd hear him scream, when he come back out.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Vietnam too, like booby traps.
Punching pits where they would put shit all over spikes.
Yep. Like Vietnam, dude, they knew their land, obviously, right? So they knew like
home field
how to
advantage.
set. Mm-hmm.
There was they have this, I want to say it's in Vietnam. They have a museum full of all the different types of traps they have.
Oh, and you can go in like the tunnels, right?
Yeah, and I saw.
You can go in the tunnels?
Yeah.
What?
They were so like skilled with the way that they knew their land. They had boxes built into the floor, and they had like foliage like covering the top.
Oh, so like spider holes.
Yeah, but just them, like it's barely.
Yeah, it's just one person.
It's just one person.
Yep.
And they said that once they knew that the platoon was like
in front of them.
Yeah, in front of them, they would hop out and just light them up.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Yeah, Vietnam Wars.
And I looked it up. Finally, the Russians admitted to having advisors on the front lines with the Northern Vietnamese army.
Wow.
So there would be
Really?
like Russian. I'm gonna say Spetsnaz because that just generalizes Russian
Yep.
special forces. That would go with the Vietnamese, with the northern. Oh, fuck that Coke. The NVA. That would go with the NVA, right? And they would go on attacks and raids, and a lot of them would get killed doing it. Yep, and they don't even talk about how sometimes when MiGs, like we dogfight them in Vietnam,
Okay.
they were flown by Russians most of the time. Same thing in the Korean War. But we don't talk about that because it could start World War II. Just like recently, I should have brought this up. A guy got the Medal of Honor in the Korean War for shooting down 4 out of 6 MiGs that were trying to go towards his aircraft carrier. Guess what?
What?
Almost all of them were Russian pilots. And they didn't talk about it until recently because they were afraid it would start World War III back in the Korean War days.
Really?
Yep.
There's
fuck Russia. Fuck Russia.
a guy. There's a story of this guy. I forgot his name. He was Russian, and they were on this submarine. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so. Continue.
They were on the submarine somewhere. I want to say it was either in the Pacific or Atlantic, somewhere, some ocean, some body of water, and they had it was an aircraft carrier, right? That was going above them, and thought they were invading or something, and the general told them, "Hey, fire on that ship, like don't take the risk." And I think it was just like a really low-ranking officer was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." They said that he prevented World War III because it turned out that it was like an American carrier just passing by.
Damn.
Just like how sometimes the Russians think satellite launches are nuke launches.
Yeah, that I've heard of. I heard. I saw this.
And it's like, hey, relax.
I saw this AI video of what they think the end of the world would be,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
Nuclear war.
It was based around. It was based around extraterrestrials trying to make contact, and pretty much like what the United States tried to do was try to have everybody come together and say, look, like we're going to come together as a world, and we're going to make first contact. Like that's what we're going to do. We have to come together as a world, and we have to make first contact together. Nobody can do it all at once. We got to do it together. Well, Russia's pretty much like, no, fuck that. We're going to make first contact. And so the Americans are like, no, like, look, like we've signed a pact, right? And it's like us, the Europeans, stuff like that.
We need to be in agreement.
Like we need to be in agreement to make contact together, right? Like everybody gets sent somebody up. We'll all like share a ship, but we need to go together and make contact. Russia teams up with like, the Saudis
Of
and
course.
China, right? And they decide that they're going to send up a ship. So they send up ships, right? So the United States. So it's cool because it's set now, right? So Elon Musk makes special ships that will, like SpaceX pretty much gets, some of the ships that they're, I guess, working on now and says like, fuck it. Like we'll speed
I'm pretty
up.
sure we'd give them a blank check.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, fuck it. Like, we're going to revamp. Honestly, I think that's something Elon Musk would just do.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, come on. You get to have SpaceX make contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Brought to you by Space.
Come on. Yeah, right? It's got Coca-Cola on the side. So they go up, right? So we send off 2 ships and Russia sends off 2 ships at the same time. Well, there's word that Russia puts nuclear warheads on their ships going up. Right?
So we shoot them down?
So we're both in space now, right? We have 2 pods in space. They have 2 pods in space. And it's showing us like getting ready to go into contact with these spaceships. And over like radio frequency, you hear the Russians say, Americans like back away. We are making first contact. Like if you know what's good for you, like step away. And the 2 American ships keep going, right? All of a sudden you see one drop out a nuke and they use some kind of system to push the nuke forward. And sure enough, it hits the pod and, it still shows Joe Biden as president. And
So they nuke the aliens.
no, they nuke us.
Our ships.
Our ship. They nuke our ship to stop us from making first contact. Joe Biden's response to that is to drop a nuke in Moscow. Yeah. Yeah, dude. So we drop a nuke in Moscow. Well, the Iranians and the Chinese send off nukes too. And that's pretty much what ends the world.
At least we know we'd be Military
That's
City, USA, baby.
Yeah, no, seriously, dude.
Jesus.
I try not to think of that whenever like shit gets real. Like I'm like, fuck. Nah, not San Antonio.
They put a chart out where it shows like San Antonio would get like 5 or 6 nukes.
Well, that's because they were. Well, that was one. I think it was like North Korea or something like that, right? When they were threatening about nukes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we were on their
They
list.
said on a war with Russia, we'd get 5 or 6 nukes.
Jesus.
It's just our city alone because of our airfield.
Great.
But anyway, we're going to get into
Great.
the Iraq War, which is 2003 to 2011. We lost 4,424 U.S. soldiers, right? My favorite story, though, is Sergeant Bellavia, all right?
Okay.
He wrote a book called House to House. I've read it. Amazing book. He got the Medal of Honor. He's still alive. He didn't die in combat. Of course, he wrote a book. He was in the second Battle of Fallujah in 2004, right? So, in Fallujah, he led an infantry squad into a house, right? That was being used by insurgents. As the squad entered the house, they encountered heavy fire. And Bellavia, there's actually a movie or a documentary called Only the Dead where they were with him. But at some point when they go into the house and take heavy fire, his guys pull out, and I believe he goes in there by himself. Right? Goes in the house by himself. Well, he kills one insurgent with his rifle. And then he kills, I believe, another one with his rifle. And then it gets to the point where he gets into hand-to-hand combat with one insurgent, right?
Okay.
And basically, they were literally just swinging on each other, right?
Okay.
No guns, no knives.
Just
Just
going
trying
at
to
it.
beat each other to death. To the point that Bellavia takes out one of his plates from his plate carrier and starts beating the fuck out of the insurgent with it. But it's not doing anything, right? For some reason, it's not. So he has a foldable Gerber knife, like a multi-tool, pulls the blade out, stabs that dude to death with it.
What?
Yep. And then there's another instance where like him and another insurgent stumble into each other and he beats him to death with the stock of his M16.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then he kills like a couple other dudes throughout the house.
Yeah.
And for that he got the Medal of Honor.
Jeez.
Yep. But like you guys are swinging on each other as hard as you can, and it's like
because it's one of us is gonna get out of here alive, right? And and it's gonna be me, like that kind of.
Not you. So you got the Medal of Honor for that, and then
Jesus.
And then there's another Bellavia story. I really gave you guys like the too long didn't read because just read the book.
Yeah, read the book. Take time.
Because there's one part that's like really fucked up.
Okay.
Where they talk about they shoot an insurgent in front of his house, right?
Yep.
And his kid comes out and is like crying, and the insurgent's looking at him. So you know what the Marines do?
Oh.
Pop smoke, right? And they pop smoke in front of the house, not to block the kid from seeing his dad dying, but to block the kid from saying bye to his dad. Because they said, this dude's coming out here to kill us, so why in the fuck are we going to allow... If we're not going to be able to say bye to our kids or loved ones, why in the fuck should you be able to say bye to your kids and loved ones?
Damn.
So they pop smoke.
Damn.
Yeah, it was in the book. I was like...
That's crazy.
Yep. So, another dude, right? Another guy named...
This is still the war in
Iraq.
Iraq?
Sergeant First Class Paul R. Smith. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions at the Battle of Baghdad Airport in Iraq on April 4, 2003. Right? So he was with B Company 11th Engineer Battalion of the 3rd Infantry Division. Right? So they were set up with basically a temporary holding area for prisoners of war, basically near the international airport.
Yep.
So they had been under enemy fire for quite a few days, right? But at some point they were hit by a large attack by the Iraqi forces.
Okay.
So the enemy launched RPGs, mortars, small arms fire, and they kind of overwhelmed the Americans, right? So Sergeant Smith, when his position came under heavy enemy fire, right? So what he did to defend himself and his fellow soldiers was he got on the 50 cal on top of his armored vehicle. And so he started engaging the enemy, and some of them were moving closer, right? Firing on it with RPGs and stuff. And so what he does is he starts calling in like artillery and stuff, even though he's being shot at while on his gun, right? And finally, when they fire an RPG, he gets wounded by like shrapnel. And he's like, fuck medical treatment. And he continues fighting, but his machine gun gets so hot that he had to change like barrels like 2 or 3 times. Damn. Because he's firing like almost nonstop. And so there was a bunch of wounded soldiers during the battle, because the battle goes on, I think, for 4 or 5 hours in like a trench in front of him, right? And he could see the enemy, but they couldn't because they were in a trench, right? So he gets out of the turret, runs to reach the wounded soldiers, pulls them back, right? And once he notices they're like getting closer, he gets back on his machine gun. He starts throwing grenades at him, keeps using the machine gun, and like he 100% like fought them back almost on his own, right, with the 50 cal. But because he refused medical treatment, he dies like a couple hours later after doing all of that. And so he was given it, like, of course, after his death, like the Medal of Honor. And I like cut out like a lot of the story because it's like, we're going to be talking for 30 minutes if I include the horse story.
Yeah.
But it's just fucking crazy how a lot of these dudes, like, no regard for their own safety. They're like,
just
my friends, they're in trouble and I got to go.
I got to go in and get them. God. Dude, to be put in that situation is insane. Crazy. It's tough to even think about, right? Like having to be put into that and the mindset you have to be in.
Yeah, exactly. And all right. So we're going to get into the Afghanistan war really quick, because how long have we been doing this?
We are about an hour and 30 minutes in.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty not bad.
We're going to get into the war in Afghanistan. That is, we lost 2,448 soldiers in that conflict. And
it just ended.
One of the most known stories is from Sergeant Dakota Meyer. He wrote a book about it and stuff like that, right? So on September 8th, 2009... he was a U.S. Marine Corps corporal at the time, and he was in the Ganjgal Valley in the Kunar province, which they say was one of the worst provinces in Afghanistan to fight in. So his team, I listened to his interview. He was kind of like, he was staying with the vehicles while his team kind of moved forward into the village, and they get ambushed basically by the Taliban, by a decent amount of Taliban, and they order him to stay back, right?
Okay.
To not push in. But he basically says, fuck that. So he takes his vehicle in to help his guys. And what he was doing with his vehicle is he'd go pick up wounded soldiers, drive them out. Go pick up wounded soldiers, drive them out, right? And at one point, the story didn't talk about this, but he talks about it. As he's getting out of his vehicle, I think he cuts a corner or something, and him and a Taliban fighter bump into each other.
Damn.
And like, their rifles are knocked out of the way. He beats this Taliban fighter to death with a rock.
Bro.
Yeah, like, he said in the thing, like, he just keeps hitting him. And he says he sees when, like, the cheekbone collapses because of the bone, and, like, when his skull starts denting in. And he just keeps fucking going at it until he's dead.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there's a lot more to the story, because I think it's a long fight. Like, it's like a 5 to 6 to almost 10-hour fight. I don't know if I'm giving, like, broad numbers, because I know it was more than, like, an hour. But he was credited with saving 13 U.S. soldiers and 23 Afghan soldiers. Afghani.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, that was super loud. God. Jesus.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy.
That's crazy to think about, dude. Like,
Yep, just driving in and then, like, just trying to get as many guys out as possible. But
dude, not caring, dude, and going in and saying, like, fuck it, like, we're going to go in. Fuck it, we're going to go in and we're going to do this and we're going to get them out.
There's a lot of crazy stories from Afghanistan that, like, because people will always think, like, oh, they're just, farmers shooting at you with AKs. Like, No, they're not. Like, if you read the book Red Platoon,
Okay.
which I don't know if you've seen on Netflix, Outpost.
No.
It's about, I forget the name of the combat outpost, but pretty fucking good, right? But the book like goes deep into detail of what actually happened, and what's crazy is you can still find, unless it's been scrubbed from the internet, the Taliban's perspective of them attacking that outpost, because they attacked it with like 150 fighters. And like the Taliban were recording, and there was an investigation into this, but remember, officers that are high ranking don't get in trouble. They situated, imagine this is a bowl, okay?
Yep.
They put the base
In the bowl. Oh, is this? Which is this? Which one is this? Or, I think I remember this.
It's from Outpost. I forget what the name of the base, the little combat outpost. But so
It's
what
not Benghazi, right?
No. Benghazi was in Libya.
Oh.
You know, that country where like, hey, Gaddafi, you don't want to sell us oil anymore? We'll say goodbye.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That ass.
So the Taliban were sitting like on the mountains and shooting in to the base. So there was like literally no cover. But people forget about that. Or there's one called Ranch House where a lot of people, because you can watch Restrepo, and then there's another one from Restrepo called Korengal. There was a combat outpost called Ranch House, and they got absolutely overrun by the Taliban. Like, we're talking Apache showed up and were shooting inside of the combat outpost.
Damn.
Like, to get the Taliban to back off. So people, like, don't give the Taliban, like, yeah, fuck the Taliban, but don't sleep on your enemy's skill. Never underestimate them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Because that's how a lot of people get fucked.
Yep. Underestimating your enemy, for sure.
Yep, like, they're humans like us. Just because they're not educated doesn't mean they're not smart in their tactics and what they do, because sometimes they get foreign fighters, because there's something called the fighting season, right? And it's when like teenagers, we're talking fighting age males, will go from Pakistan into Afghanistan to fight the Americans. Yep, so they'll go from Pakistan, hey, it's time to go fight the Americans, and they'll go into Afghanistan. Yeah.
Holy shit. I had no idea about that.
Yup.
That's fucking crazy.
Or there's another story where, like, the Brits, I know it's American Memorial Day, but whatever. One of the Brits, he had a helmet cam, and they were fighting the Taliban, and the Taliban was getting close. He fixes bayonets and actually kills one on camera with his bayonet.
Damn.
But we're talking, like, 144p. So, like, the footage is, like, dog
terrible.
shit.
Dog potatoes.
Or, like, the Norwegians. Oh, my God. Those dudes. I think it was the Danes or the Norwegians. They were such savages. Like, they did a freaking war crime investigation on one of them because, like, some Taliban fighters were hiding inside of, like, they call them wadis, which are, like, I guess it's kind of like a trench where water would go through. It's kind of like irrigation, but it's a really deep trench. I don't know. Some Taliban fighters were hiding in there, and he pushes up on them and kills two of them. And he's, like, dragging their bodies out. And he's like, it's just like hunting. Like, just like moving animals, right?
Okay.
And they freaking investigated him for war crimes for that. Yeah.
Damn.
And I was like, I don't know about that.
Damn.
But I think it's because the documentary came out, and then they were like, oh, well, we can't look bad that we condone that, so we're going to persecute this soldier, which is, like, kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If your soldiers are there to do their job, which is a war fight, like, don't fuck them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
Like, oh, we want you to go over there, stack bodies for us. Oh, but the way you stack the bodies?
Yeah. War crime trials are for Nazis.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what war crime trials are for.
I mean, if you kill women and children, that's different. But
yeah, no, seriously, yeah, way different. Damn. Moral of all these stories, though. Moral of all these stories are respect Memorial Day. These men and women put their lives on the line so that way we, two 20-year-olds, can come on here and make YouTube videos and try to make that a living. Yeah, and try to make that a living.
Yep.
Like,
crazy.
Man, just think of the country we live in and the things that we're able to do. So this Memorial Day, one, from two guys rambling, from me Javi and Sean, we want to hope that everybody has a great and safe Memorial Day. Definitely, if you can volunteer, you can volunteer here in San Antonio, where they try to get a ton of volunteers to go to like Fort Sam and put up
wreaths,
American flags and wreaths and stuff like that. So they HEB is a huge sponsor for that. They get a lot of volunteers to go out and put up American flags and stuff like that. So please, this Memorial Day, just take a minute or two to one, look at and read about what these men and women have done on the front lines to make sure that we have the freedoms that we have today. To give us the right to be able to sit here and argue and vote and be able to do the things that we get to do in this country that we absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
So from two guys rambling to everybody else at home and all of our men and women who have fought in every war, we thank you. We thank you and are very appreciative for that, because you give us the right and the freedoms to be able to do this. So we, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate every single one of y'all, and we hope that this episode wasn't too somber, but that it was able to bring light to some of the things that people have to go through.
100%.
Especially in times of war. Like it's a different animal, and most of us will never understand it.
Nope. And
that's why so many people take it for granted. Honestly, is why so many people take it for granted. And you know, it's funny because I'm a true believer, and it can always be worse.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could be over there fighting.
You could be over there fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You could be over there getting wounded 3 times and still having to fight to even try to get out. You know what I mean? Like, like that's a real world scenario. Not for most of us, but for a lot of men and women that are out there fighting for us to this day. Those aren't the first wars, and those won't be the last wars.
Oh, that's for sure.
There will be a time where we have to do it again, and
probably to fight the Chinese.
But I hope that everybody has a fun and safe Memorial Day. I don't think we have anything else.
No, that's about it.
Well, I don't think there's anything else that we can talk about today. We are on the road to trying to get 1,000 followers on TikTok, so that way y'all can sit down and smoke a cigar with me and Javi live. So we are looking for that. And we are also looking for 100 subscribers on YouTube. So we're doing a giveaway for folks that don't know yet. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, we're officially doing a giveaway. We're giving, once we reach 100 subscribers on YouTube, we're going to give away 5 cigars. And not like pansy ass cigars either.
No.
We're going to be giving away some shit you can't even get in the store anymore. So some like Tatawahe exclusives that I have, some PCA stuff. So like you're going to get some cigars that, and even if you don't smoke the cigars, gift them. Like trust me, a cigar lover will, absolutely be over the moon if you give them these things.
Unless you smoke really Romeo and Julietas or like, you know,
Yeah,
Rocky Patel.
Then you might not be able to appreciate these.
Yeah.
But or who knows, right? Maybe they'll smoke these and it'll open their eyes to what cigars can be.
Maybe their eyes don't want to be open.
And then on TikTok, once we get 1,000 followers, we're gonna give away 10 cigars. That's a box of cigars, dude.
What the fuck? All right.
Yeah, right. I didn't agree to that. I have the video.
Once we get 1 million, you're gonna cube it out of Fidel Castro's.
Okay. We will go find Fidel Castro's gravesite and we'll take one of his scripts. No. What do you call it? Once we reach 1,000 followers on TikTok, we're gonna give away 10 cigars. And so all of those things, once we reach the 100 and once we reach 1,000, we'll come out with the video celebrating our 100 or 1,000, wherever we're at. And then all you have to do is like, comment, and make sure you're a subscriber. And then from there, we're going to do some sort of like Zoom or something to make sure that you're over the age of 21, obviously, because you have to be over the age of 21 to win the cigars. And then you'll be able to smoke those cigars with us.
Exactly.
And that's going to be great for y'all because we've got some goodies.
Yes,
We've got some
do.
hidden goodies, man. And I'm sure that if we dig far enough in our humidors, we can find some stuff that you might not have tried. Sean, are those it socks?
Exactly.
They're Pennywise socks? Just saw the nose right now.
You're like, wait, what
wait a minute.
He's everywhere.
So like I said, from us all here at Two Guys Rambling, we hope that you have a great and special Memorial Day. Enjoy the time with your family, enjoy the time in this land, and make sure you do a little bit of thanking for the men and women that fought to give us these freedoms that we are here for today, that we have and we're able to cherish. But other than that, I think that's it. Like, comment, subscribe down below. You can reach us at twoguysramblingofficial@gmail.com if there's any ideas of stuff that you want to learn about or listen about, or things that you think that we should research and have a video on. So don't be afraid to either comment down below or reach out to us on through email, stuff like that, because we are more than happy to do it for you guys, because we absolutely I love doing this.
Oh yeah, it's
so
fun.
far it's so much fun. It's something to look forward to every week.
Oh yeah.
I realize that I don't smoke cigars now outside of this. This is pretty much the time I come down and sit down and smoke a cigar.
Dude, same.
And obviously we're investing, time and money into this to make sure that we've got good footage for you guys. Javi dedicates a lot of time to research and doing all that
You
stuff.
think this book fills up itself?
Yeah. He's got to write in it, guys. It's just not a smart notebook, okay?
Those exist?
Yeah, I know, right? But please like, comment, subscribe. Sean, am I missing anything?
Yes. How do you like your cigar?
Oh my God. We always,
Yeah.
it's a Liga, man. It's a Liga and it's a limited edition.
Well, that's you know what Zach would say.
I know.
Ligas are
Zach,
ass.
and Zach, it's a damn good cigar. Zach, all right?
Maybe your palate's just burnt out, Zach. All right.
After smoking that 9x9. Oh, I know Javi's not gonna be excited. Room 101's coming out with a 7x70.
Okay, I'm down.
7x70.
I'm down to try it.
So 7 is how many inches it is. That's what she said. And then 70 is the girth. That's also what she said. So that's what it is. 7x70. So it's a big ass cigar.
And then if what is the company? Comes
Asylum?
out with the April Fools.
Asylum?
Asylum comes out. We're gonna smoke that on the pod, and we're gonna no matter how long it takes,
It's
we're
probably
gonna be
that.
two guys rambling.
That'll be 4 hours long for sure. So good luck with that. Maybe we can do a live with that.
I'm
That'd be a
down.
live. That'd be cool to do a live. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah. Right.
Also, mine was all right. I mean, it's good, but
Yeah.
towards the end, it kind of gets like a little bitter.
I saw you check the end
Yeah,
to see if I guess the tar was building up or whatever.
it got a little bitter.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have someone out there who's like, well, maybe you shouldn't torch it so much.
Yeah.
Be like,
well,
You buy this?
yeah. Well, we
No,
got these
then eat
cigars.
ass. All right.
Eat ass. You heard it here first. Yeah, I loved my cigar. I liked. Oh well, I don't. It's not the best cigar I've ever had, but it's a damn good cigar. You pick up a Liga, and you know it's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Zach. And those are really good too. But I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's a dud. I mean, maybe
That's
it's just
possible.
a one-off. You know.
That's possible because I
It
really like
happens.
those cigars too. But other than that, we are two guys rambling, and I guess that's all we got now, man.
Yeah.
We will see you again here next week. Same time, same place. How we do it every week. But from all of us, we appreciate you tuning in for another episode. I hope this looks better than it did before. Because now we got the camera set up, and keep saying camera to make Javi as nervous as possible. But I hope you love it. I hope we love doing this. And again, we're on that road to try to get 1,000 followers on TikTok, 100 subscribers on YouTube. That's the first goal. And there will be more goals to come, I promise. So we appreciate you guys. Share this with 2 friends like we ask for every week. But other than that, we'll see you later. Thank you for being here.
See ya.
Good night.
Peace.